Welcome to Just Winning. I'm your host, Jon Whitley. Today we're going to be breaking down everything this past weekend in the world of football. On my right, I'm joined by Noah Kemper. Noah, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here. And on my left, I'm joined by Alex Funderburke. Sorry. Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. All right, so let's get right into it. I think our game of the week, most exciting game I found was Dallas at Atlanta. Alex, you're a Cowboys guy. What did you think of that game?
That game was crazy. I mean, to start off with four fumbles right away, and 3 of them were turnovers, and then to come back from 20 nothing it was really impressive. That onside kick where the Falcons had 5 people around the ball and just forgot to fall on it was crazy.
Yeah, I said it was the best and worst onside kick I've ever seen. It looked like it wasn't going to go 10 yards. The Falcons players looked like they thought it wasn't going to go 10 yards. They all stopped, and then Dallas jumps on the ball, takes the ball down the field, and scores. Noah, what did you take away from that game?
I mean, I was a little disappointed in the Falcons' defense at the end. I mean, it was a 2-possession game with 7:57 left in the game. You just got to close out the game, but they were unable to do that, and Dallas just got the win.
What do you guys think? Is it time to put Dan Quinn on the hot seat?
I'm shocked he still had a job after that game. I really thought Arthur Blank would have fired him right after that game.
Right on the
just
spot?
On the spot, not let him fly back to Atlanta with the team. But, I definitely think he's on the hot seat now.
I agree.
You agree he's on the hot seat?
Yes.
I mean, here's the thing. His team played well. The offense put up 39 points, but he is a defensive head coach. Defense allowed 40 points. What do you guys think? How hot is that seat?
I think this is the second week in a row that Atlanta has showed that their defense just cannot stand up, and it's cost them 2 games, honestly.
It has. So, do you think he makes it through the season, or do you think they give him a full season?
I don't think he makes it through the season. I think they'll give him most of the season, but I think eventually they will fire him.
If they get out of the playoff hunt, perhaps. What do you think, Alex? They give him a full season here in Atlanta?
No, I think he has a couple more weeks. If they keep losing, I think he's out of there. I mean, teams that scored 39 points with 0 turnovers were 440-0 before last Sunday. So to drop that game, that's tough, and I think it's on fire right now.
It is. Let's get into our Sunday night game. Very exciting game. Patriots Seahawks. Maybe the second best game of the week, that Dallas and Atlanta game. In the words of Tom Hanks from Apollo 13, I would say it was a successful failure for the Patriots. They didn't win the game, but their offense looked sweet and really give a lot of hope to Patriots fans moving forward. Noah, what did you most take away from that game?
I think the Patriots did look more comfortable on offense. Cam Newton, I think, was running more. He looked comfortable. And also for the Seahawks, I give full props to Russell Wilson throwing for 5 touchdown passes. Like last week, he was very impressive, and he just showed it again this week. And he threw to 5 different receivers, which is very impressive.
Very, very impressive. Alex, what did you think?
Cam Newton, like you said, it was a successful failure. He accounted for 444 of the Patriots' 464 yards, and he looked outstanding. He looked like Auburn Cam Newton again, and it was really cool to see.
Absolutely. And he really passed the ball well too. 30 for 44 for 397 yards. My only thing for the Patriots is you can't have too many successful failures. At some point, you're going to have some successful successes. So learn from it, move forward, but let's start putting some in the W column.
For sure.
Let's get into our Monday night game last night. Las Vegas debut for the Raiders. They looked really good. It was a shame they didn't have fans in the stadium. What did you think of the Raiders last night?
I mean, when the Saints got up 17-7, I thought, oh, here comes the Saints, Drew Brees doing everything. But the Raiders showed that they are a real contender this year. They showed that they tied the game at halftime. Their defense can force turnovers, and their offense can score. And they showed that by scoring 4 possessions in a row to end the first half and to start the second half. And that was enough to pull away at the end.
Absolutely. Alex, what did you think?
It was kind of weird to see Drew Brees get outperformed on a Monday night
By Derek Carr.
by Derek Carr of all people. But I mean, 129 yards in penalties for the Saints really hurt them. But Derek Carr looked really impressive on third down. He went 9 for 10, 98 yards and a touchdown.
He looked good.
And if he can keep that up, they'll be a playoff contender.
Yeah. What do you guys think the forecast is for the Raiders?
I think they have a chance of making the playoffs with the combination of Darren Waller and Derek Carr. You don't know how they can go very far.
But Noah, do you think they will make the playoffs?
Um,
They're not winning that division. I'll tell you that
no,
right
it's
now.
too early in the season to tell. They might slide into a wild card, but again, it's only week 2, so right now it's too early to call it.
I agree with that, but I do think they do have a good shot of getting that wild card because, like you said, they're not going to win the division.
Not as long as Patrick Mahomes is at the helm.
As long as Mahomes is there, they're not going to win the division. But their offense does look impressive. It's their first time scoring 30-plus points in their first 2 games since 2002. So to see that happen, I do like where they're going.
Absolutely. And Josh Jacobs showed me everything I needed to see.
Yeah.
You know, on our running back preview show, I said he wasn't a top 10 back yet. I said he had good production last year because he had so many touches, but I wasn't sure if I had seen the talent there. Last night, I saw the talent. What do you guys think of Josh Jacobs?
I mean, he was outstanding. Week 1, outstanding. Week 2, came back with 88 rushing yards, pulled down 3 receptions for 17 yards. He showed that he can be everywhere. He can be there when the team needs him, and he shined bright on Monday night.
Very well said. Who stood out to you most on the Raiders?
Honestly, Derek Carr or Waller. Waller had, 9 receptions?
Yeah.
And he looked good. So if he can keep that up, be Carr's go-to along with Ruggs.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
they'll
Yeah, I thought the Ruggs connection was a little off, not quite there yet.
Yeah.
But I certainly hope they figure it out. And a lot of that was due to he would beat the corner Janoris Jenkins, and then there'd be a pass interference because they couldn't keep up with him. So I think moving forward, that's going to be a great connection. Personally, I just can't wait to see when the Las Vegas citizens can pack that stadium.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Raiders are such a big national brand. I think the city of Las Vegas and really the state of Nevada as a whole is really going to get behind that franchise, and it's going to be cool to see.
That stadium looks beautiful.
Oh,
it's outstanding.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing of beauty. But guys, on the Saints side, after last week against the Buccaneers, Sean Payton said they were a little off offensively. He's the play caller. They still won the game, but this week they looked off again, and they did not win the game. What do you guys think the answer is for the Saints?
Well, definitely the loss of Michael Thomas was proved to be crucial as, Drew Brees struggled to find his receivers, and we need someone else to step up. We need Emmanuel Sanders, who I don't know where he was on the field last night, but he needs to step up, and they just got to figure it out.
Absolutely. What do you think, Alex?
So a bunch of Saints fans that I follow on Twitter wanted Jameis to go in that game.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know, bro. Drew Brees,
Brees,
he's on the other side of 40. He might be over the hill.
I don't know if it's time for Jameis yet, but keep an eye out for it because Drew Brees wasn't looking like Drew Brees last night.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. Jameis Winston, he showed a lot of promise in Tampa, so maybe you put him with an offensive mind like Sean Payton. It could be something. Could be something moving forward. Well, certainly something to keep an eye on. I think my thing is what he touched on with the loss of Michael Thomas, and then in Week 1 against the Bucs, you said your offense was off. And Mike Thomas was in the whole game. He didn't get injured till the last series, but he was invisible out there. He wasn't part of the game plan. So I think moving forward, get Mike Thomas involved in the offense. Running through him will hit its stride. Yep. I think I would pump the brakes on the Jameis rumors for this season, but he could be the future of the Saints.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. That is all the time we have for NFL. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get into some college ball.
How has a failure or apparent failure set you up for a future success, and do you maybe have a favorite failure of yours?
I think there was a time in my life where I was living in Germany. I'd lived in Germany for a year. You might have read that in the article, actually. And I remember coming back from Germany and having the goal in mind to work in baseball, but really being completely resigned that there's no way I could possibly make it happen. I just didn't have, the technical coding know-how to be a numbers cruncher in a front office. I didn't really have any connections in the industry to speak of. And so I just felt completely dejected. And, I had this YouTube channel that had 800 subscribers. And the first time I made a baseball bits, which is, like you said, the flagship series, I probably got 200 views or something like that. But then I kept making them. And I think by the time I got to the third one, it just blew up. And then that's kind of where I got to where I am now.
We are back. We got to see some good college ball last week, and it felt a little weird most of your big dogs were inactive, with the Big 12 and the Big 10 and the Pac-12 out, and then most of the Big 12 was inactive last weekend. So it was a very strange week of college football, but opener for our UCF Knights, and they looked sweet. 49-21 win over Georgia Tech. What did you guys take away from this? I'll start with you, Noah.
I was very impressed to see Dylan Gabriel do well. Threw for 417 yards, 4 touchdown passes on the road too, which is very impressive because in the past he has struggled, but he's shown that he's ready to lead this team.
Absolutely. What did you think?
The offense was impressive. 660 total yards of offense. That's the second most yards Georgia Tech has ever given up, and they've been playing football for 123 years. So to see that happen was really impressive. But I will say, even though they lost, I'm really impressed with the true freshman duo of Jeff Sims and Jameer Gibbs. They look like they're going to be stars and going to be bringing Georgia Tech back to the national stage soon.
Absolutely. I think Georgia Tech, they're going to be really good in a couple of years because they've just been recruiting for the triple option for so long. They need time to recruit and get the player personnel they need for their current system. And they're in a recruiting hotspot in Georgia. That's been one of the top recruiting states for a long time. So I think Georgia Tech's going to be all right. They're just a couple of years away. On UCF side, I thought it was sweet. I think Dylan Gabriel made the second-year jump that we wanted to see, against a Power 5 team on the road. I also loved seeing Jalen Robinson, the Oklahoma transfer, step up after losing Gabe Davis to the NFL. The Trey Nixon injury hurts, though.
Yes.
Who do you guys think needs to step up to fill that void? Noah?
Well, we saw promise from Marlon Williams. He showed a lot of promise. He brought in 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like you said, Jalen, who also performed very well. And we also have other players that that can step up. But I feel like we have a lot of wide receiver weapons. And, if we use them for now, I think we can deal without Trey Nixon.
What do you think,
No,
Alex?
no doubt that losing Trey Nixon would hurt, but I think luckily the wide receiver position is somewhere where UCF is very deep. I think we're going to see guys like O'Keefe step up. He's
I hope so. I'm very excited. to see
He's
him.
insanely fast. One of the fastest dudes I've ever seen.
UC fast, baby.
Yep. And I think if he can step into that role, I think UCF's offense will be just fine.
Absolutely. And as far as the rushing game, we saw, a committee look like we expected. Otis Anderson leading with 18 carries, followed by McCray at 9 and Batavius Thompson at 12. What stands out to you from our running back room?
Otis Anderson, I feel like, is our starter right now. He was impressive. He's got the fast speed, and I feel like going into next week, he will be the number 1 running back. And I feel like with the combination of wide receivers and dangerous running backs, we have a great offense right now.
So I think even with Trey going down, you can kind of make Otis more of a receiving back, and you can have McCray in the backfield because I think McCray's your more power guy.
Yeah.
And you can use Otis in screens, or you can even put him at the slot because he's really versatile.
Absolutely. Well said. So Mackenzie Milton's still inactive in the opener, but he's on the way to return and shows promise. Who do you guys think we start if Mackenzie Milton is 100%?
If Mackenzie's 100%, I want him in the football game because he's shown from the 2017 season that he was our future. He led us to so many crucial victories, and I don't know. I feel like if he's 100% Mackenzie Milton as he was then, I'd start him.
I think you got to go with Dylan Gabriel just because I think you kind of got to build for the future too. And I think benching Dylan if Dylan slips up, yes, put Milton in. But until Dylan slips up, keep him in there, let him grow in the offense, and because you're not just trying to win this year, you're trying to win in the future too.
Yeah, I tend to agree. You spent a year developing this kid, so I'd hate to see that year go to waste by benching him now and potentially stunting his growth.
Yep.
So I think you stick with him. He's the future, not Mackenzie Milton, who's the redshirt senior. But like you said, if Gabriel really struggles, then maybe go back to Mackenzie. Let's go down to South Florida. Miami Hurricanes, big statement win over the Louisville Cardinals, 47-34. Guys, it looks like Miami finally has a quarterback with De'Aaron King going 18 for 30 for 325 yards and 3 touchdowns with an explosive offense, putting up 47 points. That's something we haven't seen from the Hurricanes. What do you guys think? Are they back?
They might be back. Like you said, they finally have that quarterback. They have a guy who can make plays for their offense. And in the past, for the past 20 years, that's what they've been missing. So to have De'Aaron King there is huge. Whether they're back or not, we got to see. They got to keep winning because we've seen this before in Miami.
We've seen fool's
they start
gold.
quick,
Yep.
they start quick, and then they crash late. So if they can stick around, it's cool to have another Florida team be good.
Yeah. What do you think, Noah?
I think this is Miami's chance. This year is crazy with some teams, being inactive for the start of the season. So if Miami wants to make a move, this is their year. They have a quarterback that just threw for over 300 yards, and they dominated the 18 Louisville. So this is their chance to make a jump.
Yeah, absolutely. But same conference as Clemson. They're going to see them in the regular season this year. Can they give Clemson a challenge?
It's Clemson and Notre Dame. Notre Dame's with the
Yeah.
ACC this year too, so it's gonna be tough. I don't know if they can give Clemson a challenge. I don't think anyone can give Clemson a challenge outside of Ohio State. But I think Miami is kind of in that number 2, number 3 spot right now.
Absolutely. I think they will beat Notre Dame.
I do too.
I think the year Manny Diaz was defensive coordinator and made the turnover chain debut, they smacked Notre Dame at home that year. And that was really when that was when they fooled me. I said the U is back. And then they go on to really have a disappointing season after that, which ultimately led to a huge bowl loss to Wisconsin. And it didn't get any better from there. Ended up moving away from the Mark Richt into Manny Diaz. Manny Diaz finally has a new offensive coordinator, so we'll see. Maybe they're back. Now, guys, this Saturday we have the real football starts. The Southeastern Conference is making its season debut. 2 big games that stand out to me: Mississippi State LSU. You've got Mike Leach's debut at Mississippi State, and then you've got the defending champion LSU Tigers. What are you guys most looking forward to see in this one?
I want to see, like you said, Mike Leach. I want to see that offense. I want to see air raid, how that's going to work in the SEC. I think Mississippi State, I don't know if they'll win, but I am curious to see how they do with the new offense. And then LSU with Miles Brennan. How is he going to be at quarterback? Can they replace Joe Burrow and still be effective?
Absolutely. What do you think, Noah?
I think some people are writing off LSU because they have lost, their star receiver, their star quarterback, even their running back. So I feel like they are getting written off, as the point spread shows, as they're favored, but not as much as they would have been last year. So this is their chance to show that they do have more depth, that they do have more offensive weapons to use, and this is their chance to show that they're still the defending champions.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams are replacing quarterbacks, as Mississippi State also lost Tommy Stevens to the NFL. I'm not sure if Mississippi State has the personnel yet for this air raid offense Mike Leach is bringing. But, LSU replacing a ton of starters on offense, I think we're going to see LSU struggle a little bit, and I think I've got LSU winning by 6.
I would put it around there too.
Yeah. Yeah, now let's move to our other Florida team, the Florida Gators, making their season debut against Lane Kiffin, making his Ole Miss debut. Okay, what are you guys most looking forward to seeing in this game?
I want to see Lane Kiffin and how Ole Miss is going to look. I think having 2 polarizing coaches now playing for the Egg Bowl, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I want to see Lane Kiffin is a character. I love Lane Kiffin, so to see him at Ole Miss, I think that's going to be really fun. And I want to see, is the hype real with Florida? People have been saying they're playoff contenders, so let's see it.
Yeah, let's see it. Noah, what do you think?
I think Florida is playoff contenders. They have Kyle Trask, who's coming back off an amazing season, who just had to step in last year and just, bring them some crazy wins, like the win over Kentucky. He led that team to a victory, and I feel like this is kind of his team now, so this is his chance to prove that their offense is ready to, make a run for it.
Is this the year that Florida gets over the hump of Georgia?
I think it is. Jake Fromm is gone from Georgia, so this is kind of their chance to prove that they are real contenders in the SEC, and they're coming for Alabama.
No, Alex, what do you say to that?
I'm not on the Florida hype train yet. I think they're much like Miami, where they look good, but they don't do anything with it.
Yeah, I'm not. I think they will look good against some inferior opponents. For instance, Ole Miss this weekend. But to say they're going to get over Georgia, I'm not there yet.
Agreed.
Florida fans have been saying year after year that this is their year, but they haven't gotten over Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs. I don't see that changing this year. Who do you guys see coming out of the SEC West? I know you have Florida in the SEC East. You have Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you have coming out of the SEC West?
Well, there's a lot of good teams in there. So, for example, you have Alabama, who they lost Tua. LSU lost Joe Burrow. So there's still, it could really be anyone's game. I'm not really sure yet, but I still think Alabama has the edge.
I'm giving the edge to LSU. I really like Miles Brennan,
Really?
and I think that defense will still be really good.
Interesting. It was announced yesterday Mac Jones is going to get the start for Alabama. Definitely a downgrade from Tua, I think you have to say. How far can Mac Jones take this Alabama team? Can they get back to the playoffs?
We saw him against Auburn, and there were struggles, but there also were signs of him, taking this team far, and they really should have won that game. But, I mean, we'll see for now as, he's going to try to lead his team. We're not really sure how, the rest of the SEC plays out as, other players have, gone to the NFL, but we'll see for now.
Yeah, I think Mac Jones can be the guy. Will he be the guy? I don't know. I think he has enough talent around him to where he doesn't have to be the hero. I think he can just be a game manager. Just don't make the big mistake and they'll be fine.
Okay. So before we cut to break, each of you give me your 4 playoff teams, starting with you, Alex.
I'm going to go with Clemson, Ohio State, if the Big Ten's allowed in the playoff, Oklahoma, and give me UCF.
UCF Knights. Bold man, I love it. Noah, what say you?
I got similar picks. I'm going to take, obviously, Clemson at 1, Ohio State at 2. I'm going to take Oklahoma at 3 as well, and I'm putting Florida in 4.
Florida in 4.
I really think this is their year.
I don't see no SEC team making it.
And
frankly, I see the committee putting in 2 SEC teams before they put in an American team, as much as it hurts me to say that.
Yeah.
That is all the time we have today for college football. When we get back, we'll get into our Beast, Bust, and Best of the Week.
Hey everyone, I'm Kayla Burge.
And I'm Lindsay Tellez.
And we're the new hosts of Girls on Deck, airing every Wednesday. Make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel.
And follow us on all of our social media. Check us out.
We are back. This is our final segment where we get into our Beast, Bust, and Best of the Week. Let's get right into it. Alex, who is your Beast of the Week?
My Beast is Calvin Ridley, 7 receptions, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was slicing and dicing my Cowboys defense.
Slicing and dicing.
He was going crazy. The Cowboys had no answer for him, and he looked really, really good. And Julio Jones was kind of non-existent. So for Matt Ryan to have Calvin Ridley to go to was huge.
Absolutely. If I had never watched a football game in my life and I just started watching the season, I would say Calvin Ridley is the number 1 in that offense.
You would think so, right? The first 2 weeks he has been their number 1. Julio has kind of been non-existent, and Julio's on my fantasy team, so I know.
Slicing and dicing.
Slicing and dicing.
That's a great Beast. Noah, who is your Beast?
I had to go Aaron Jones. 168 rushing yards, including a 75 rushing touchdown. 2 touchdowns, which is crazy enough. But not only did he lead the team in rushing, he also led the team in receiving yards with 68 and another touchdown. If that's not explosive, I don't know what is. As he helped the Packers to 42 points and just destroy the
Absolutely. And I love seeing it because not only am I a Packers guy, but I have Aaron Jones on my fantasy team where I absolutely destroyed host of Hitting the Field, Jarrett Kappelman. My Beast of the Week is Sean McVay. Not only did he look absolutely jacked on Hard Knocks, but I'm going to give him his genius tag back. The offense looks like it is the Super Bowl season.
Yep.
They're getting back to running the ball. 12 carries, 81 yards for Henderson. And then Jared Goff passing, very nice game. 20 for 27 for 267 yards and 3 touchdowns. Sean McVay, I'm giving you your genius tag back.
They look good. And if they were in the NFC East, they'd be in first place right now. They're 2-0 against NFC East teams.
But sitting real nice. It's a tough division.
Yeah, they're in a tough division, and that offense looks like it did the year they went to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. And I'll declare right now, the Rams are getting back to the playoffs. It's going to be a tough race in that NFC West. They legitimately could have 3 teams make the playoffs, but one of them will be the Los Angeles Rams.
I agree with that, but I do think the Cardinals look good. I think
Cardinals look
good.
They did look great.
Seahawks look good, and the Niners, they're all hurt now, but
Yeah,
they still look good.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that division's tough.
That is an insane division.
Tough race. Alex, who is your bust of
My
the week?
bust this week is Kirk Cousins. Kirk, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
11 for 26, 113 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a QBR of 9.3. You're not going to win any games with that kind of stat line.
No.
You're not going to be a starter with that stuff.
That too. And Kirk got the big contract, and he did not live up to
all
it.
that guaranteed money.
Yep.
But we were all ready to throw in the towel on Kirk this time last year, and he came back and proved us all wrong.
Yes, he
So
did.
I'm not ready to count him out just yet.
Yeah, no, it's going to be – he has to turn it on again. And from what I saw last week, I don't know if he will.
Yeah, well, the loss of Stephon Diggs takes a lot of explosiveness away from that offense. Justin Jefferson so far doesn't look like he's nearly what Diggs was to that offense. So watch out for if you're a Minnesota Vikings fan.
Yep.
Noah, who is your bust of the week?
Well, to carry on this, my bust was the Minnesota Vikings offense. 175 total yards. That's it. That's awful. That's
it was absolutely abysmal. The Jaguars' offense looked better against the Vikings.
Oh yeah. It was. There's nothing
Or
more
it
to
was
say.
better against the Colts. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just horrible. And then to only put up that many points as they did is just embarrassing. It really is. They need to get their offense together. As if they want to start winning and make the playoffs, if they want to be back where they were last week, they just need to figure it out.
And it's not like the Colts defense is
It's nothing
amazing.
special,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great. And for them to only put up that much is
It's
pretty sad.
very concerning.
Yeah.
Huge red flag if you're a Vikings fan. All right, my bust of the week, I'm going with the other coach from Hard Knocks, Anthony Lynn. The Chargers looked pretty good against the Chiefs. They really did. They surprised a lot of people. Justin Herbert gets the start due to a Tyrod injury. He looked awesome.
Yes.
22 for 33 for 311 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 bad interception, but he's a rookie, so that's to be expected. But then Anthony Lynn comes out and says that Tyrod's still the starter if 100%. Was just disappointing. Nobody wants to see Tyrod Taylor. He's a game manager who's boring to watch. Keep the rookie in there. Give the people what they want to see. Anthony Lynn, you are my bust of the week.
Yes.
You know, I think it is Herbert's job, and if Herbert can keep it up, that division they can make some noise. They're obviously not going to win it, but they can be a tough out for sure. And like they took the Chiefs to overtime, so they can play them well. And like you said, Herbert looked amazing.
He looked amazing, and that's why it's just so frustrating because I already want to see your guy Tua. I thought we were finally there with Herbert, and then Anthony Lynn pumps the brakes on
I didn't see Joe Burrow do that well week 1, and then Herbert just comes out here, throws for over 300 yards, takes the Chiefs.
He was electric.
The Super Bowl champions to overtime, and they're just not going to start him. I don't know.
It's painful. It's
It
painful.
really is.
Alex, who is your best of the week?
My best is the Seahawks. I think because Russell Wilson went off 5 touchdown passes, and I think he's currently the MVP front runner. And
As our producer Sean, the Patriots fan, shakes his head. Disgust.
so I do think that, and that huge defensive stop on the goal line. But if Cam just went outside, I think he would have scored. But
But he didn't.
But he didn't, and they got through the line quick. They got him. And like I said, I think Russ is the MVP front
Mr.
runner. at the moment.
Unlimited. I'm going to say that every chance I get on the show this semester. Noah, who is your best of the week?
All right, this might come as a surprise, but for me, it would be the 49ers. They showed that with
Big bounce back.
injuries, with everything thrown at them, their starter tight end not available, that they can still just absolutely dominate. With 31 points thrown up, they obstacles like Jimmy G was knocked out. They're finally, after their star running back just gets explosive, gets knocked out, Nick Bosa knocked out, they showed that they can still dominate. And despite all their injuries, I think they can still put up a good fight for who they face.
Absolutely. My best of the week is the Baltimore Ravens. They're playing the Houston Texans, a very tough team. I thought this was going to be the best game of the week because it felt like a must-win for the Texans after losing week 1 to the Chiefs. But the Baltimore Ravens looked dominant. I think they have the best run game in the whole league with Lamar Jackson leading it off. Plus, what I would consider the second best running back committee after the Browns with Mark Ingram, Gus Edwards, and
Dobbins.
now J.K. Dobbins. So Baltimore Ravens, you are my best of the week.
It's that on Monday night we get Chiefs Ravens.
That's
gonna be a fun game. Kind of establish who is the best team in the AFC, because right now I think they're tied. I think they're neck and neck.
That will be just a crazy game.
Yeah, I like the way Steve Levy put it last night. It's the Ferrari versus the Lamborghini.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Who do you guys have in that game if you have to pick today? Alex, I'll start with you.
I'm going Ravens in a close one. I think
Ravens in a close
that offense is just unstoppable.
Yeah, the Chiefs left a bad taste in your mouth against the Charger, huh?
Yep.
Noah, who do you have?
After seeing, like you said, the Chiefs being taken to overtime, I gotta get the Ravens, but very close game because Patrick Mahomes can be clutch, but I don't know if he'll be up to the task with the backfield of the Ravens, Lamar Jackson at quarterback. I think it's just too much to handle.
Absolutely. I'm going on the other side with the Chiefs. The Ravens, they do have a big physical secondary that could cause problems for the Chiefs, but Patrick Mahomes is just too good. I think they're going to go to the film room, work out a lot of the kinks against the Chargers, and I think they're going to actually dominate the Baltimore Ravens next
Interesting.
week.
Interesting.
That is all the time we have for football talk today. Join us next week as we break down another great weekend of football.